friends, thanks so much for clicking on my channel and joining me for a class today. I have got a 10-minute or so morning stretch for us, all in a seated position. Now, just so you know, when I do morning stretches myself, I really just listen to whatever feels good in my body. So if we get into a spot and you think, ooh, yes, this is exactly where I want to be, know that you can pause the video, you can do exactly what you need to do, and I certainly won't be offended. Also, I will talk about a block a couple of times, or maybe even a bolster if we have one. Mostly since we are in a seated position, it can be a little bit of tight in our hip flexors, underneath our hamstrings, and if you need a little extra lift for yourself, know that that's always a wonderful option. So go ahead, watch the video, and give me a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Okay. So go ahead and find a comfy spot on your mat. And as I mentioned, you are more than welcome to use a block or a bolster or just a folded up blanket, anything that you need that can lift your sitting bones up a little higher if you feel a little bit of tightness in your hamstrings when you are in a seat on the ground. It doesn't have to be anything fancy like this, just anything to prop you up a little bit higher. But do find a nice easy seat and let your hands rest heavy down by your sides. And if you want to, maybe just for a second, close your eyes and take a great big full inhale and a big breath out. Another full inhale, big sigh out. One last big full belly expanding breath and let it go. Seal your lips together, sit taller and straighter. Imagine that I'm holding onto your ears and pulling them up to the sky. You can lightly blink your eyes open whenever you feel ready. And from here, ever so slightly, tuck your chin into your chest. Just enough that we lengthen that cervical spine, the very back of our body. Take a moment here and just feel your sitting bones on the mat. And maybe you can feel them really good right away, or maybe you need to kind of move some of your seat out of the way so you can feel yourself plant a little deeper onto the floor. But before we go anywhere, broaden those shoulders. Pull your belly button in, cinch the waist just like we would in a regular Pilates class. Take a great big inhale, big sigh out. Now from here, let's begin to roll our shoulders just a little bit, just beginning to wake up our body. Nothing big, nothing crazy. Maybe they go at the same time. Maybe you roll one and then the other. And then reverse it. Again, they can go at the same time, or one and then the other. And then again, let your hands just be heavy on your thighs. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, drop your chin to your chest. As that chin falls to your chest, think of lifting the back of your head up towards the sky. Take a breath. And as you exhale, roll your right ear to your right shoulder. Left ear reaches up to the sky. Left shoulder presses down. Open and expand that left side of your neck. Take a breath. Bring your chin back to your chest and roll to the other side. Same thing here. Now my right ear is reaching up, my right shoulder is pressing down so I can open up that right side of the body. Take a breath. Bring yourself back to center. Now let's just sway our head a little side to side. This can be fast or slow. Remember, this is not about looking exactly like me, but instead just naturally listening to your body. And if it feels better for you to take it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, you go right ahead. And then slowly, let's bring our chin back to our chest. Bring our gaze upright. Inhale, lift your hands up nice and high. Exhale, flip the palms, press them down, tuck your chin to your chest as you do. Inhale, hands lift, gaze comes forward. Exhale, press the hands down, drop that chin to the chest. Two more just like that. Inhale, gaze goes straight forward. Exhale, chin to chest, lengthen through that cervical spine. And now eventually, instead of just bringing our gaze right up center, this time I'm going to take my gaze up to the sky and think of lifting my sternum up as I do so. Exhale, flip the palms, chin to chest, lower down. Keep going just like that, continuing to wake up your body. Last one right here. Take your hands, your gaze upright and stay. Almost internally rotate your pinkies towards one another. Feel your sitting bones plant down into the floor. Inhale, lift your fingertips up even higher. As you exhale, drop your right arm down and take your left arm over to the side. Now, do you feel like your left sitting bone, your left little sits bones there came off of the mat, or did it stay in place? Plant it down, grow longer through that left side. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, press off of your right hand. Take your gaze, your arms back up to center, up to the sky, and then drop the left side down. Same thing here. As your left hand falls onto the floor, plant down deeper through your right hip, your right sitting bone, and grow longer out that side. Take a big inhale. Exhale, pull yourself all the way upright. Flip the palms, bring your hands down. Now you can either plant them on your side or just let them hang out here, but we're gonna do a seated cat and cow. That just means to kind of arch and round through our spine, however feels good. And now, as you can see, I am bringing my shoulders into it because naturally that's what feels good in my body right now. But as we do morning stretches, it's really about listening to what feels intuitive to you. Where does your body want to move? Now, eventually, the next time that we come forward, I want us to stay there and then almost imagine that a little string is pulling your sternum a little bit further forward, deepening that kind of hinge, that small arch we've got. And then I want you to shift over to the right and begin to circle around your sitting bones, around your hips, trying to keep them planting into the floor the entire time. Go ahead and circle around once or twice more to the right side. And then this next time that we come to center, pause for a breath, reach your sternum, reach your chest forward. I'm thinking about kissing my shoulder blades in together behind my body, and then shift over to the left and let's circle around our sitting bones, around our hips, and around we go. And you may notice something incredibly different from one side to the other, and that is absolutely fine. Both sides are going to be very different. There's not always a true evenness from one side to the other. But eventually, let's come on forward again and stay. Take a breath, pull yourself back to center, and we're going to extend our feet outright. Now again, we have that option of using a block, a bolster, a blanket to sit up on to give us a little bit more lift. If you don't need it, that's fine. Your knees absolutely do not have to be completely straight. If there's a bend there, that is perfectly fine. I want you to take your hands and lean back. And whatever feels best on your wrist is fine. It works best for me to have my fingertips pointing towards my sit bones, but if it feels better to turn them out for you, that's okay. Roll the shoulders and puff your chest up. It's very similar to that kind of seated cat and cow we just did a moment ago, and we can kind of think of this as a really big fish pose. And then soften down. Again, roll the shoulders, puff the heart and chest. Take your gaze up. Exhale, soften down. One more time, roll those shoulders, puff the heart, broaden through the front of your chest. Your sternum is lifting up, your shoulders are reaching back behind you, and then come to a nice, easy, comfortable spot. Do bend the knees, walk your feet in, and I just want us to windshield wiper our knees a little side to side. And now mine are going at the same pace right now, but if you want to do one and then the other, that can kind of open up your hips a little bit more. That might feel nice, and that is perfectly fine if you want to do that instead. But eventually, let's go ahead and bring both feet back to center and extend our legs out once more. Now, very lovingly, very gently, pull your left leg in and let it fall out to the side. Now again, if you've got a block, a prop, anything at all, and you want to bring it underneath that knee to give your hip a little support, that is a fabulous idea, but if it feels better to keep it there, that's great too. Now I want you just to sit up tall and straight again. You can always move some of your glute out of the way if you want to feel a little bit more connected to the ground. Sit tall, sit straight. Bring your hands to your hips, pull your belly button up and in. Again, imagine that I'm lifting your ears up a little higher. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, a gentle hinge forward. This is nothing big, nothing crazy at all. In fact, if you've got a bend in your knee here, that would be perfectly fine too. I want you, though, to think about bringing your chest towards your leg rather than trying to force your head and curl in. It's not about us coming close, getting down, but instead finding a little bit of a stretch to the back of the leg, and of course through the back of the spine, the back of the head and neck as well. Take a full inhale. Exhale, maybe deep in that hinge. One more big breath. Exhale, go ahead now, forward fold. But again, it's not about yanking your head close to your leg whatsoever. Instead, I imagine I've got a ball of some sort underneath my tummy, and I'm just rounding and curling over that ball. And then slowly roll yourself up. Let's extend our opposite foot out, pull the other guy in, let it fall off to the side. And remember, both sides can be so different. Maybe we need a block on this side and we didn't before. Maybe you want to shove a blanket underneath there. That would be great too. Hands come to our hips again. Sit tall, sit straight, take a great big breath. And a very gentle hinge forward. Now you could lift your arms out and really reach them out and away, but that's going to take a little bit more abdominal strength. And since this is a nice morning stretch class, I am not so concerned about turning on my tummy muscles yet, but instead just waking up my body, doing what feels good for me. Maybe you want to hinge a little deeper, maybe you want to stay right in place, but when you feel ready, you can forward fold over, remembering we've got that little ball underneath us, keeping our spine nice and round. Let that head be heavy. And roll yourself up. Now from here, extend both feet out and let's open them up to about the distance of our mat. Bend your knees, plant your feet into the floor, and I want you to hug the back of your thighs. Sit tall, sit straight, and then hinge again forward. I almost think of this as an upright happy baby. For me, it's about lengthening through the spine. I'm still imagining someone pulling my ears up while I kind of reach my heart, my chest forward. You might even want to flex the feet and kind of pull up the toes, just like we would if we were on our back. Wherever you are, though, you can be perfectly still, or you might want to rock and kind of sway side to side. You may not get a lot of movement there, but sometimes, oh, that can feel kind of nice in the hip joints. You might be surprised at where you have a little sensationalism or a little bit of extra stretch just by moving a little bit. Take a great big inhale wherever you are. And now for those of us that are feeling really ready to stretch, you can keep holding on to your feet and maybe take a little bit of a further hinge forward. Now, if you let yourself stay up a little bit further right, that's fine. And if your knees stayed bent and you didn't completely straighten them, that's great too. You can, of course, release the hands from your legs, your feet, wherever you're holding on to. Take a big, deep inhale. Exhale one more time, forward fold over your legs. Curl like you've got that imaginary ball underneath your belly. Roll yourself up. And then go ahead and just give yourself a quick pat on the back. I hope you enjoyed our nice little fast morning stretch. And I hope the rest of your day feels a little bit more bright, a little bit more joyful because of it. Have a great day.